Welcome, Sian.
Hello everyone, my name is Cyan Williams. First, I would just like to show you all a video.
Cyan.
Let's
go back.
The volume on the computer is muted.
It's okay if it doesn't work, but I was playing on a phone, and then I went onto YouTube, and I saw so many kids making these awesome YouTube videos, and I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to do what you do." And then she asked me, "What do I do?" And then I said, "You make people happier." I believe kids learn better through kids. So I started a kitchen cake because I used to stutter a lot, and I wanted to teach other kids to stand up for themselves because I know exactly how it feels, and it is just terrible. And then I thought, but I have a right to stand up to other kids and to teach other kids to stand up for themselves. One time, this one woman, she posted on our one picture that my mom is abusing me because she is pressuring me into doing something that I don't want to do. That is completely untrue. So she always lets me have choices. My mom will never pressure me into doing something that I don't want to do. And I am still a kid. I have so much fun. When I heard that I had a stutter, then I was quite confused, and I wasn't exactly sure what other kids would think of me. I can't help it. I just have to be myself and tell them that it isn't right. And I did have lots of moments where I just broke down and I cried my eyes out. I actually prayed to God to take away my voice. That's how bad it got. One kid helps that kid, and that kid helps that kid, and then
I think it's good how she started Kitchen Cake so everyone knows how it feels, so they can learn about people bullying each other, and people might stop bullying people and think about what Simon said. If I saw someone that didn't have any friends, I might go up to them and say, "Are you okay?" And me and my friends Luca and Ellison, they went up to a boy in year 2 and they saw him that it looked like he didn't have any friends, so they went up to him and helped him get friends and everything.
we say a child that bullies, to not label them, because we don't know if they bully because there's something happening in their family or because they're jealous. There's many reasons to be a child that bullies. I did a 15-minute speech there in front of more than 300 people who attended a Rights Hero Award by the Youth for Human Rights founder, Mary Shuttleworth. And then after that, I received the Pride of Australia Young Leader Medal. And currently, I am the Youth Citizen of the Year for Joondalup. So you can do anything that you dream, but you just have to keep on going with your dreams. Get your community involved, or just anyone who you know will be able to help you with your dream. And then you wanted to get in contact, well, I still want to, with Obama. It's a big thing to ask, but he's done so many incredible things to impact on the world, and I just think if we connect, it's something great might happen.
Hello again. Most of you probably know that I stutter. And when Dad and I moved from Oman to Australia, my pre-primary teacher made an appointment with my parents to tell them that they thought I had a stutter. So I went with my mum and dad to see if I really did stutter. And a lady gave me a small book to read. Each time I stuttered, she would push a button. And that button counted the amount of times I stuttered. At the end of the test, she told us the amount of times I stuttered would show where I am between 1 and 10 for stuttering. 1 being a minor stutter and 10 a major stutter. And I, at the age of 5, was a 13.5 on this scale. I had all 3 forms of stuttering. I had letters, words, and blocking. And I didn't really understand why kids were so mean to me when I was smaller. And now, because of that test, I understood why I have a stutter. And I was so confused because I had no idea what stuttering was and why I talk so weird. Luckily, my parents tried to help me by putting me into the Lidcombe program. Unfortunately, that program did nothing but scar me. The people who were supposedly helping me told my mum and dad to say bumpy each time I stuttered and smooth each time I talked. So a normal conversation would go, okay, Cyan, tell me about the weather. Oh, okay. It's smooth, quite bumpy, weather, smooth. And my relationship with my parents quickly changed, and I didn't know why. They were also so mean to me by putting me in this program. And I hated everything and even prayed to God to take my voice away. And I would go to my room after school and cry my eyes out. And then my mom would ask me what I was doing. And I answered, I want God to take away my voice so I can never talk again. One day, my mum saw how miserable I was and decided enough is enough. She turned the car around while we were driving to my speech therapy and asked me if I wanted to get some ice cream. Of course I said yes. And we had a long discussion about this program. In the end, we both decided I should take a break. 5 years later, age 11, I have gotten my confidence back. I started my own business straight after I stopped the program, and I'm traveling the world doing speeches about my journey. When I stopped the program, I was still a bit shy and I didn't really want to talk. But my mom wanted me to be confident and not to be afraid of talking. So if we went to the shops, she would tell me to look the person who was ringing our grocery items up and say hello to them and pay for our food. It wasn't a very long conversation, but that hello, how are you slowly built up my confidence. Then at the age of 6, I told my mom I wanted to make YouTube videos. My mom thought it was a brilliant idea to boost my confidence. I made fun videos explaining how to make slime, what to do if you see an injured wildlife animal, and I had a 3-hour interview with the snake whisperer, with snakes wrapped around my waist and my neck for the snake season. These videos helped my confidence to grow and helped me start my business, Kiducate. And here are my 3 top tips to help you stand up to someone confidently. Your eye contact, your words, and your body language. First, your eye contact. Look the person in the eye when you are talking to them, so they know exactly who you are talking to. Next, your words. Have a strong voice so they can hear exactly what you are saying while standing up to them. And lastly, your body language. Have a strong stance. Don't slouch, because then they will think that you are scared and try to bully you again, because they think that you are an easy target. Confidence is extremely important, especially if you are a stutterer. I once had an incident where I was at a raffle and all the raffle tickets were pre-booked. And I went up to the lady who was running the raffle and asked her for our tickets. She asked me for my name because it was booked under my name, and I blocked on my name. I finally got it out, and then she said, "Oh, did you forget your name?" And I didn't understand that it was a joke, because no one has said that to me before. I ran back to my mom, crying my eyes out, and said, "Mommy, that lady teased me." And my mom said that I need to be confident and go back up to her and tell her I stutter and I can't help it. I walked back up to the lady and told her I stutter. And then, and I stutter on my name, Cyan. And she began crying so much, and she felt so bad. She had no idea I stuttered. Confidence is extremely important, because a little joke like that can really hurt someone emotionally. You need to be able to stand up for yourself and for others. Yes, there is a program for children who stutter, but in my opinion, it doesn't help at all. It breaks down children's and adults' confidence and does not support their self-care. Self-care is essential for stutterers because the LITCOM program could create anxiety. From my own experience, if stutterers do not invest in their self-care and are in this program, their confidence and personality will be affected. We need to implement a proper program that helps stutterers, not a program that breaks stutterers down. In conclusion, it is very important that we get more funding from the government for research for a new program. Referring to the latest media release from the Australian Speakeasy Association and the Speech Pathology Australia around this topic, while stuttering has been shown to be associated with the same quality of life impairments as stroke, diabetes and heart disease, it receives far less attention and publicity and remains poorly understood by the wider Australian community. So, let's take more action. While we are looking into the mental effects around stuttering and my personal journey, I would like to see more support out there for children and adults who stutter. Things like counselling, art therapies and confidence building can do much more than the LITCOM program. These ideas I have might not stop people from stuttering, but it will allow kids to accept themselves and who they are and build their confidence. Thank you.
Wow. Have you got a brother that's awesome as well? Or?
No, just me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And oh yes, question. All good? Yeah.
Cyan, you might not like this question. I have a 28-year-old son who stuttered really badly, like you, and he received LITCOM, and he no longer stutters. He has no recollection of stuttering. Are you saying you would take that away from him?
No, not at all. That program has definitely worked for a lot of people, but my experiences and my thoughts are that it hasn't helped me, and
I understand that.
there
Thank you.
should be also more options
Thank
and
you.
that as well.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, and now I would like to welcome my mum as well.
You can stand here with me because I did also ask questions and have more questions.
Well, I'll just
Stand here with me. You actually made me drop a tear there.
yeah, I see. Sorry.
Thank you for having us. Well, I'm going to now just talk from a mother's point of view. Literally just what we've been through. And Peter, I appreciate your question. This piece that Cyan wrote for her talk was literally done solidly by herself. I had no influence on it. I didn't give any suggestions. My only suggestion was when she referred to the media release, because she said in our media release, and I said, no, you need to mention the people whose media release it was. She wrote it. And my question to her is, I gave her a couple of questions to make it easier for her to write it, and said to her, think back how it was for you, and then answer the questions. And it was important for me that it came from what's going on for her inside and her heart and what she felt. And I think the LITCOM program, like any other program, is, I definitely believe it works for some kids. I know some kids that went through the program, but I also know a lot of kids that has been through the program and it didn't work. So yeah, definitely, I like your answer as well, and it was based on her personal experience. My personal experience with the program, I totally agree with Cyan in the sense of there must be something else, there must be more. she's been through the program 8 years ago, and she was on the program for 18 months. We went to see our speech therapist every week, and then we had to do 20 minutes of talking. So I literally got to a point. She had an extremely, as a little kid, she always had a bubbly personality. And in the 18 months that we were busy with the program and using the program, and we literally, I took out on a daily basis time to work with her through the program. And in the 18 months we've been through the program, she got to a point where she spoke about in the car when we were driving there, and she was sitting in the back of the car in her seat in the middle of the back seat, and I was looking in my mirror at her, and this child, this bubbly, happy kid that I got to know as she grew up, was sitting there, arms folded, and she stared at me with a look in her eyes. The only way I can explain it is she looked like Chucky, and I was waiting for the knife to come out. She hated me, and I realized she didn't like me anymore. And I said to her, son, what's going on? And the next moment, she started crying. Tears started flowing, and she said to me, I hate you. I hate you. I want my mummy back. I don't want this person you are. And I hated that. I'm a qualified holistic counsellor. I worked with women going through domestic violence. I know how to support people that's going through a hard time, and I couldn't support and help my own child. That killed me. I literally slammed on the brakes, and I said to her, do you want ice cream? So that day I decided we're going to give her a break, and I want to give her a complete break for about a year. That was a conscious decision that I made. The year ended up, 7 years later, we haven't been back to anything else. And the only reason we haven't been back to anything else, there isn't anything else. There was a lot of social norms and things people said to me after I took her out of the program. Even some of my close friends said to me, it's bad of you as a mum taking her out of a speech program. And I'm like, but it's not working. It's been 18 months. I saw how she emotionally degraded from a happy kid to where she was, where she didn't want to talk to me anymore because she knew when I'm going to say, Simon, come sit down, let's have a chat, it's going to be bumpy, fluent, bumpy. She didn't want to communicate with me anymore. I spoke to a counsellor at one stage, and I said to her, I would really like to get Cyan to you, just to help her a bit. And I meant with her anxiety and the way she's feeling. And this counsellor said to me, go fix her stutter. Why did you take her out of speech therapy? Go fix her stutter, and then we can look at the anxiety. And I looked at her and I said to her, but what if the anxiety caused the stutter? What then? And she couldn't give me an answer. And I realized, well, I needed to do something myself. So I went in my big tool bag of tools that I've learned over the years through my holistic counselling, and I started doing sand-tray therapy with Cyan. And if you don't know what sand-tray therapy is, it's literally a big bucket of sand with lots of little figurines, and if I work with clients, I will tell them to portray what's going on for them in the sand. And I used sand-tray therapy to play games with Cyan in the sand. And earlier on, when you were down on the ground doing the little car thing, that's what we did. We played. We literally played. I used play therapy to get her to talk. And I still said the bumpy and the smooth talking and so forth. But I started slowing that down because I could see she just didn't want to hear the word bumpy anymore. Mm. And we started using other techniques. So from a mum's point of view, I would say, and I would ask if I can ask for stuff, is yes, more research around it, more programs around it, and more awareness around it. Cyan was in 3 schools in Perth. Her first school, it was in Kindy. When they picked up, she had a stutter. She got teased and mocked a lot about her stutter. The way I explained it to Cyan was, Cyan, you walk into a classroom and you talk funny. Kids are going to laugh. They're not laughing because they're horrible or they just don't know better. They don't know what stuttering is. when we moved her to the second school, Queen Baptist College, her teacher literally took Cyan over under her wing, Mrs. Smith, and she said to the kids in the class, "Hey kids, this is Cyan. She came in second semester. Do you guys know what stuttering is?" There was not one hand in that class that went up. Not one kid knew what stuttering was. And the teacher said to her, "Cyan, please explain to the kids what stuttering is." And Cyan had a couple of minutes talking to them and telling them about stutter. They understood. They never, ever teased her or mocked her while she was in Quins. We from there moved her to LJBC because it's close to home, and that's the school she had her name up when we were living in the Middle East. LJBC, where she's now, did exactly the same. They allowed her into the classroom and said the first day, "Guys, do you know what stuttering is?" There was no hands going up. The kids didn't know. And they were year 4 when you went in. They were year 4 kids. They weren't little ones. They didn't know what stuttering was. But the teachers gave Cyan that platform to tell them what it is, to educate kids about stuttering and what she's going through. Cyan has never been teased or mocked in LJBC. And that's why she's a happy, confident kid. As a mum, yes, I would like to see more funding going into helping kids. You guys are sitting in front of us, you are adults, but you were all kids that stuttered. And for me, it's sad that adults need to go through so much to build confidence as adults. Why can't we start that process from childhood? Thank you so much.
Well done.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you very much for being here and for coming so far. Yeah, that's quite a sobering message for us, isn't it? The same situation is occurring in schools now that occurred at school for most of us, say, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I think that you've energised our association. Thank you very much.
And just honestly, just to add on to that, I think with bullying just generally, Cyan runs a bully prevention program, I think that's the big key to everything, educate children. Because nobody is perfect. You get kids with hearing problem, eyes, so many kinds of problems. It's just educating.
Well, in the word ignorance is the word ignore. And they're ignoring people's emotions.
Yeah.
And they're ignoring their feelings. And they're not showing empathy because it could have been them.
Just one point.
Yeah.
You raised a good point right near the end about confidence, about developing their confidence. I think it's more about not taking the confidence away.
Exactly.
I think as children, they don't judge, whereas as you get older, there's a lot more judgment. And no, I really commend you, really inspiring.
And just on that note, funny enough, do you want to say what you always say about the judging? Where do you feel comfortable? Who do you feel comfortable talking in front of?
Oh yeah. So if I do speeches, I prefer to talk in front of adults much more than children, because I feel like I'm judged, and I don't think that's only because of my stutter. I think that's just because they are my age and they might feel like they are able to judge their age groups more. Yeah.
Yeah. Enough time now. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's one more.
Okay. I totally agree with you about breaking down this in terms of therapies, this one size fits all mentality, and unfortunately, part of it is the fact that bureaucrats love that because it's much easier for them to fund one particular therapy and say that's it, that we've done our job to fund and support that particular therapy, because it's much simpler doing that than funding multiple therapies and research into multiple therapies and all that. How you break that one down, I think it will be a bit harder because it doesn't suit their interest to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.